So this week in Ho'oponopono, I'm just reminded of the seminar that I went to with Hugh Len many years ago. And I don't know if you were aware, but Hugh Len, as part of his weekend seminar, he does some work with the inner child aspect. And in essence, what it is, it's you doing Ho'oponopono with the inner child. Usually what he says is you can give your inner child a name if it comes up, or Keola was the name he said in general that you could use for your inner child. And he went through his book of different things that I guess typically the inner child finds abhorrent in adult behavior among humans. And the one that sticks out in my head is abortion. Apparently the inner child finds aborting babies for whatever reason abhorrent. And whatever people think about that particular issue, according to Hugh Len, the inner child doesn't want to listen to any rationalizations whatsoever. It simply is sick to its stomach over that particular one. But a lot of different things that are passed down ancestrally. There were some ancestral healing things that were being done. And after you go through, and I'm sorry, I don't have the handout book that came with the seminar. I gave it away a long time ago. And you might be able to find a copy on the internet, maybe like a scanned copy, because one time I did find that. And I didn't keep it, and I don't know, I'd have to do a search again, and I'm not available to do it right now. But anyway, those are the ones that I remembered, and the whole point was, besides, I suppose in of itself, healing your inner child is a really good thing to do, but Hugh Len said that once you've made friends with your inner child Keola, your inner child will clean, which is his name for, I don't know how traditional it is. It's traditional with him, Ho'opono of I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry, thank you. That Keola, your inner child, will do that continuously. So, you don't have to keep stopping during your day to do the Ho'oponopono. Your inner child will be doing it the whole time. Nevertheless, Hugh Len also had a book that was a book of special cleaning tools, he called it. And, well, they're very odd. They're very odd because anyway, some of the things that were very good for doing the Ho'oponopono were you eating popcorn or Smarties. That is a form of Ho'oponopono. Some different things that he could do would be like, if you get a pencil that's got the little pink eraser on the end, you can use the little eraser to erase, I don't know, like write the name down, I guess, of something that needs to have some Ho'oponopono done on it, and just use your little pink rubber end to erase that, and that helps to erase that thing. Some of the Hawaiian words themselves are very good at doing the Ho'oponopono for you. So, saying the word Hawaii is one of them. I'm sure if you said aloha, and meant it, that would be helpful. He had a word, ice blue. That was a good one. We had a lot of them, and you might be able to find this book too if you did a really deep, in-depth internet search. He copyrighted all this stuff, so, you know, theoretically you're not supposed to distribute it to others. I have a huge issue with this. I have a huge issue with Hew Len and his whole philosophy, the Ho'oponopono, because copywriting things, to me, is stealing them from spirit. You were gifted with these things to steward them, and if you copyright them and say, you know, it's mine, you stole it from spirit. So Hew Len and his groups need to do a lot of Ho'oponopono on their theft from spirit of all of this stuff that they got from spirit that really should have been passed out to all kinds of human beings gratis, which is the French word for free. Why do I sound annoyed? Well, I just do, because I find, you know, spiritual teachers are always looking for excuses of why they need to charge for their spiritual services. And, you know, I guess it goes back to passing the plate at church. The way to get around all of this, I'm sorry if I sound annoyed. I don't really feel annoyed. So Spirit is giving an annoyance to my voice to give to all of you, just so you know. And the Spirit is saying to all of you who are listening, listen to Bob. Spirit says you all don't need to have your big American business models on how you're going to become because the American way of capitalism is all about stealing from spirit and reselling stuff to someone else. It's an abomination. It really is. Abomination is basically a horrible word like abortion. I always go back to what you learn in kindergarten. That is to share with your fellow students. And that is what we need to get back to. Sharing stuff, which means for free. How is that going to work in a world that's totally based on capitalism and charging for your services and goods? You're going to have to rely upon, let's call it Divine Mother. If you read the story, and the story does reside in Paramahansa Yogananda's book, Autobiography of a Yogi, there's the story of two 11-year-old boys in India, one who knew this all about Divine Mother, and one, his cousin, who didn't. And the one boy said, we're going to the next city over today. And the other boy said, I don't have money for the train. And lo and behold, the whole story is about how Divine Mother will look after you. And the boys went to this other city with no money in their pockets. They got there, they had something to eat, and they got home again. No problem. And that is simply Yogananda wanting us to know that Divine Mother will look after you as long as you are doing the right thing. And as I say, the right thing is, you know. So, what else can I tell you about the Ho'oponopono from Hew Len? Hew Len said that there was so much Ho'oponopono needed on the planet. In other words, he wasn't really optimistic that we were ever going to get through all of the stuff that needed forgiveness and love. Where do we stand today on this project of Ho'oponoponoing the world? The answer that I'm getting is we cannot fix it using Ho'oponopono. Not only are there too few of us aware and having their inner child doing Ho'oponopono, it's not going to work because there's, generally speaking, yuck, yuck, yuck everywhere. So, Spirit says, which means you're going to have to turn off your Ho'oponopono machines, and you're going to have to turn around back to Divine Mother and saying, Divine Mother, I tried this, and I saw Hew Len's course. It was maybe a dozen years ago. And, I did spend several years doing nothing but Ho'oponopono every day whenever I had a spare moment. And the Spirit says, generally speaking, you flunked, Bob. You flunked because it didn't help you. And Hew Len had a special course. I didn't attend this one, but it was called Business Ho'oponopono, so that if you're a car salesman, you can do Ho'oponopono and make lots of money. Yes. Well, I was a car salesman, and when I didn't have customers, I was doing Ho'oponopono. Did that make me the top sales dude at the dealership? No, it didn't. I did feel that there were people who were like tire kickers who came, and I believe they got healing through perhaps my aura, because I had a lot of tire kickers, and they weren't buying, so it just didn't work. The Divine Mother says, you all feel like you are responsible for doing, which is the biggest problem on planet Earth, taking credit for being a doer. Everyone's going to go, well, I do a lot of things. I changed my tire on the car yesterday. I went to Walmart and got my groceries. I went and I bought a new box of masks so I could mask myself from the coronavirus. Divine Mother says, you are all playing in what we call the Lila, or the Maya, which is the great illusion of this particular density, which is a word that you will find from the Law of One material. And we live in a very dense planet, which simply means nobody knows what's going on. The spiritual teachings are all pretty much distortions. So Divine Mother simply wants all of you to know, thank you for trying, but you're not doing anything. It is simply the illusion that your ego is running your body and running your mind. It's a great illusion, and Divine Mother says, in the illusion, thank you for trying. What Divine Mother would like you to remember is you are here as a silent witness of everything that's going on. And the main way to get out of your problem with ego is to let go of control of everything. And if you think you're going to control the world by healing it through Ho'oponopono, Divine Mother says it's a spiritual ego problem. What is a spiritual ego? A spiritual ego is an ego that is very eager to be religious, to be a new age person, to be seen as a good person. Yes, I mean, you can train your ego to be kind to others, but it's only a stepping stone to realizing that even that's an ego trait. Because, why? Because being kind to other egos is not going to fix the whole issue of this particular density that we're in, according to Law of One. Why are we here in this density? We are here in this density, according to Law of One, because it's wanted that we would become polarized, either towards being helpful to one another or to be polarized to be a nasty, negative, vampiric thing. Why? It's just part of the development process that they talk about, that souls go through in the Law of One material. Now, is the Law of One material real, or is it just another thing that came along that's for your spiritual ego? Yes. So I'm going to keep coming back to the number one thing that you can do is nothing. Is to silently witness everything. I know, but I got to go to Walmart and get some onions. This is an issue. It's an issue because you're letting yourself off the hook. I'm sorry, I lost my place. Somebody came and got interrupted. So I forgot what I was just talking about. And so I'm going to go back and let's review. Insufficient data to say anything is going to come of the Ho'oponopono projects. Some people will anecdotally say, well, this seemed to resolve. The whole point is getting rid of the doer. You doing things, which I'm going to call the spiritual ego. Why? Because we want to give you advanced teachings. You can consider the Morna Simeona, Hugh Len, Ho'oponopono a stepping stone, but we want to keep moving people into higher and higher states of consciousness. And, if you look at the work of Dr. David R. Hawkins in consciousness research, there are levels. It's stratified layers of consciousness. And you need to understand what these layers of consciousness are so that you can keep transcending them and moving up to higher and higher states so that you can get to unconditional love, which is at 540 on the scale of human consciousness, then move up to peace at 600, and then move up into the initial stages of let's call it Buddhist enlightenment at 700, and then you can max out at 1000 on the scale of human consciousness, and that's where Jesus of Nazareth and the Buddha, Zoroaster, Ahura Mazda, avatars of God are at. So, getting rid of your spiritual ego is going to be a little bit interesting, because what's your ego and what's your spirit and all this, it's just going to be a matter of doing some exercises. And this is from the Matt Kahn teaching about getting rid of the inner conflict that I got onto some of this information. And then new stuff has come along. But the whole idea that Matt Kahn says is you are in training to be an angel. Who's you? Let's go with your personality. So what does an angel do when it's around a body? The angel is there not to make the body move. The angel does not force itself on the body. The body has its own consciousness and is perfectly capable of running itself. So your job, why is that? Because you're a personality, you're a human. And your job in training for becoming an angel is to let go of running this particular body that many people have misidentified as themselves. And if you got over the idea that, you're not the body, then you're already on the path. You're not the body. You're perhaps thinking that you're here to steward the body. I'm going to say no. You're not here to be the steward of the body. You're in training to become the angel for the body. And the angel, perhaps the best way to put it is, the angel is always holding space for the body. It's not doing anything. It's not talking to the body and giving advice to the body. No. It's being the silent witness and holding space. So how are you going to know how to get better at being an angel and holding space? It's not too difficult if you know the exercises. And the exercises are primarily, you got to throw away your date book, because these appointments are very human, and the intelligence of the body has nothing to do with being human and human culture, and making appointments to, meet up with other humans. That's very low vibrational. Very low vibrational. So if you're one of these people that have got a business, you're going to have to basically get rid of your business. Get rid of your appointment book. Get rid of all your commitments, which probably means, if you're married or something, or some other kind of relationship, you're probably going to have to go and tell your partner, sorry, I know we've been, together for all this time, but I'm just letting you know that it's nothing against you. It's just my spiritual development, and it's quite likely that I'm going to leave you. So if you've got a whole pile of hang-ups about, we're married till death do us apart or whatever, or that I'm out to screw you, no, it's a spiritual development process, and tough titty, if you can't handle it, it's your issue. So then you are going to have to figure out, well, when am I running the body? And it's pretty much from the time you wake up in the morning till the time you lie down at nighttime to go to bed. So a number of times I've given this exercise to people, and I don't know if anybody's actually followed it, but it's a great exercise on how to let go of control of the body. And this is how it goes. When you wake up in the morning and you're lying there on the couch or in bed, pretty much everybody, did you wake up because you have an alarm clock? If you're waking yourself up by alarm clock, it's time you throw your alarm clock in the garbage, because you're forcing the body to awaken at a certain time, and that's not your job. Your personality's job is not to do that. You're supposed to hold space. So stop setting alarm clocks to wake you up. So you're lying there in bed, and pretty much what happens, because you've been sleeping for a number of hours, people feel an urge to go pee. Now, what happens? Well, you feel the urge to go pee, and you push the body to get up out of bed and run down to the bathroom where you can go pee. For the exercise of letting go of control of the body, when you feel this urge to pee, stop yourself from getting the body to get up out of bed. Don't do it. If you have that urge, recognize, I'm going to have an urge to get this body to go down there, because I don't like the feeling, because I know from the time I was a little person, if I have this feeling, I need to go pee. And that's misidentifying you with the body, but that's what everyone does on this planet because it's so backwards. So what you're going to do, instead of telling the body, you do use a force on the body to get it to roll out of bed. So you're not going to do that. You're going to lie there. And what you can do is you can work on meditation while you're there. You can work on relaxing. How do you relax? It's you letting go of the muscle tension in your body that you put there. So instead of, going like this, it might be more of a relaxing and seeing what the body's going to do. Relax, relax, relax. And you're going to wait. I've been waiting 20 minutes and I still feel the urge to pee. You keep waiting. Do not move this body you're associated with. And it might take you, I don't know, maybe it's going to take you an hour. Maybe it's going to take you 2 hours. I don't know. But your job in this exercise is to not force the body to do anything. So, if you feel the need to pee, well, you're just going to have to live with it. And what is going to happen, and it's going to happen, your body will, of its own accord, get up and probably go to the bathroom. And that is going to be your confirmation that the body can look after itself. You're going to need this piece. You're going to need this piece. You're going to need this piece. Because this is the foundation for you realizing that you are not needed around this body. And what are your choices? Well, I've given you become an angel and you hold space. And you become the silent witness. Now, isn't that going to make your body seem weird to other people? Well, for certain things, perhaps, you had this job, you had to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and, you started doing this, and your body is not going to that job anymore. So how are you going to work this out? You just keep letting go of control, and you will find that your body will come up with words and actions that are appropriate for, if, let's just call it whatever it is that's running the body. If it decides that it doesn't want to do this job that you're addicted to doing at 8 in the morning, then it's going to stop doing it. And everything will work out because it does. And your experience as the silent witness holding space is simply to observe how this all goes. Now, if you're like me, you will have other spirits come in. What are these other spirits? These other spirits come in and they are not on board with what I'm telling you. These spirits some of them will learn that this is what's going on, and some of them will have nothing to do with it. But these are the general spirits that talk to you. Maybe they don't have names in your... a lot of people think that the inner voice that they hear inside of their head is them. And there's some good memes that are going around on Instagram these days about, you identify yourself with the voice inside your head. You think that's you. And it's not. It's a lie. And a lot of these spirits will come in, and some of them are very malevolent spirits. And they will set up shop inside of your mind. Is it your mind? Well, it's the conscious space that you're in. And some of these spirits will get really nasty. Some of them are absolutely horribly demonic. And they'll look at you and for whatever reason, they might start getting really, really unbelievable demonic spirits. Will you go through this? Could be. I don't know. I don't know why the demonic spirits came after this one. They didn't come immediately, but they did come, and then they really came. So perhaps it's because you becoming a silent witness is raising the vibration of the aura of this particular thing. And perhaps these demonic spirits have noticed that there's a number of people that are working on raising their vibration, which means the demonic spirits are not going to have a home. Because as we raise the vibration of the collective number of humans on the planet, it raises the collective vibration of everyone. And these demonic spirits have had it good demonically in prison planet Earth for a long time, and they don't want to change. They've been very happy little demons being nasty little things, and they don't want change. So there's a war going on. The demonic spirits, they're called organized darkness, and they're all over the planet. They're in people and outside of people. It's unbelievable. And if you want more details on the ghouls, you can look into some of the work of Stuart Wilde, who commentated on it on his website and in some of his later books. Paul Levy wrote a book called something about Wedico, and it's a similar thing. Wedico is basically demonic spirits, and he wrote about that. So demons are real, and if you follow the information given to us by consciousness researcher Dr. David R. Hawkins, anything on the scale of human consciousness that is below 200 is absolutely demonic. And actually, anything that's under the level 540, unconditional love, is demonic. Now, it's a different grade, but some of the stuff that you can get hung up on, spiritual traps, could be above 200 on the scale of human consciousness. And the whole point, again, is you need to be aiming to be a Buddha at 1,000 on the scale of human consciousness. So, David Hawkins, in his books, in the preface, said, waste no time. In every one of his books, waste no time. So, you know, if you're hearing this lecture, it's time for you to get to work. Because you only have so much time on this planet. And you ask any old person, they're going to be like Anthony Hopkins and Meet Joe Black, and they're going to say, geez, it goes by in a blink. Thank you for listening. Please share and subscribe. And if you're interested in anything else, please leave me a comment, and we'll see how we can address it for you.